that payment is not a violation, which is what Rudy Giuliani was saying in his interview earlier. So that you can already begin to see the Trump lawyers potentially and others making the case that this would not be a violation. Obviously, the prosecutor is saying that it is, and Michael Cohen is on the hook for it right now.
We haven't heard from Dan Bongino yet. We'll let you ask a question. Dan.
Yeah, it's been a busy news day. Brad, Dan Bongino here. So,
hey, Dan.
Given the, good to see you, the speed of the news cycle, it's about 7 to 10 seconds long these days.
Yeah.
You know, they have an expression in corporate America on quarterly filings. You know, you just take a bath, put all the bad news in on one filing. I mean, this all came out today, and your perspective, I mean, is there even lasting political damage from this? A lot of this stuff was already baked into the cake with Trump supporters. They knew some of his past. They obviously on the Manafort case are committed, as I am, that yeah, there may have been crimes committed, but there were ulterior motives by the prosecution for going after him. Is there real political lasting damage from this?
I don't think we know the answer to that. I think it's the beginning of an effort to really put the squeeze on some of these people, and potentially where does that lead? We don't know. But we do know that the Mueller team seems to be moving a little bit quicker on a number of fronts. And the goal, as we're hearing here in Washington, is to get some kind of interim report out before the midterms, possibly by early September. If that's the case, all of these little pieces to the puzzle lead you to that, and we could be in for many other days like this, where it's all breaking like this. But, you know, the Manafort stuff, you're right. It's not tied to collusion. It doesn't tie there, but it is a win for the special counsel, even though it doesn't deal with what he was mandated to do at the beginning.
All right, Bret Baier, we appreciate it. We're going to head over now to Iowa, where a man in the United States illegally has been charged with the murder of Molly Tibbetts. Matt Finn has the latest. Matt.
Just a tragic ending to this mystery. Nearly a month after Molly Tibbetts vanished on July 18th, police a short while telling us that 24-year-old Christian Rivera was just charged with first-degree murder in the death of Molly Tibbetts. Investigators tell us that there was a surveillance tape that was crucial in solving this mystery and this crime, a surveillance tape that showed Molly Tibbetts apparently running. They looked at that surveillance tape and apparently saw Christian Rivera in his car or somewhere on that tape. They say that they questioned Rivera about the death of Molly Tibbetts. He says that on the evening she went missing on July 18th, he was following her. We're not sure if he followed her first in his car or on foot, and that he eventually started to chase her, and Molly Tibbetts said, "Get away from me." She got out her cell phone and asked him to get away from her. He tells police at that point he blacked out. Then this morning, nearly more than a month later, this man took authorities to the body of Molly Tibbetts, which is not far from here. It was found in a cornfield, apparently trying to be hidden by some extra corn stalks. Investigators say that that man has been charged with first-degree murder, and we are expecting to learn much more as this story develops.
Matt, could I ask you something? I know you've been covering this case from the beginning. Early on, when the police had a press conference, they said at one point that they believed that the suspect was hiding in plain sight. Do you think that Christian Rivera was that person?
Well, we're told that he lived in this area for 4 to 7 years, so he was perhaps a member of this community, maybe a well-known member of this community. So it is very likely, Dana, that he was hiding in plain sight. Authorities and family said that they think there's a possibility that the person contributed to the search efforts. We can't confirm that. We don't know if Rivera was hiding out the entire time or if he was going on with his daily life. Dana.
All right, Greg has a question for you.
It's a dumb question, but he's a legal alien here for 4 to 7 years. How did he pull that off? Was it just one of those cases where no one came to check? Yeah.
Not sure, Greg. It's a good question.
Juan, anybody questions?
You know, one of the interesting things about this is that her cell phone and her Fitbit had been reported as missing. And I wonder if they have now recovered those items and if that could help, although it seems as if we have a confession in this case.
I believe that at the tail end of this press conference that just wrapped up, one of the lead investigators did say that her Fitbit did help. She also had her iPhone on her. And what's interesting is that investigators were out in this area for quite some time, and they were questioning a farmer who lived nearby multiple times. And that farmer confessed or insisted that he had nothing to do with this. So we're trying to now confirm if investigators were out here because maybe her Fitbit did ping out here. Maybe her cell phone did ping out in the region where her body was found.
All right, Matt Finn, thank you. Thank you for all of your reporting on this story, and it's a terrible end, and we certainly send our sympathies to the family. Her father, Dan, had been on television very stoic, very calm, very trusting in the police this entire time, and it's certainly not the result they wanted.
No, I mean, this is I just said to you, every parent's worst nightmare. This is every human being's worst nightmare. I mean, this is an innocent young woman with her whole life ahead of her, never take another breath of oxygen again because of what this man's alleged to have done. But I think here, early in the case, there was a clue here that said to me that this guy may have been a suspect earlier than the police let on. And obviously, they owe us nothing. They owe the investigation everything. But remember early on in the case where they said there may be some miscommunication here. Someone may have interacted with her, and
yes,
they may have assumed something. That says to me that they may have suspected this person early on and suspected it was a kidnapping, and she may have still been alive. Because they're very strategic in their public communications through surrogates, in that case one of the family members. So he may have been a suspect very early in the case.
Do you have any other comments?
Well, I just, in terms of what is important, I think no one at the Trump rally tonight will give a damn about Manafort or Cohen, but this will probably be fresh in their minds.
All right. Are you telling me that we need to go? No. Okay. Dagan, your comment.
No, this is something that resonates with every parent, every mother, father, sister, brother, everybody across this country. And people will be asking over the dinner table tonight, why was this man in this country? Why was this man, and why are we still asking this question after Kate Steinle? And with the rhetoric from the left of we need to get rid of ICE, Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, that we need to get rid of this critical law enforcement unit within the federal government. That's what people are going to be talking about, because rather than two bad white-collar criminals, quite frankly.
I don't think that's right. I mean, we've had a major day of breaking news in terms of what I think are building blocks that are leading towards what I expect to be a tumultuous, stormy end of this month and beginning of September for the President of the United States. And I don't know how you can exceed that. You know, the horror that young woman went through in Iowa is not to be understated. But what we're seeing is it's becoming politicized, much like the Kate Steinle case was politicized. And I remember when people were so disappointed that a jury found that the man who was involved with her murder was not convicted of anything except, was he convicted of manslaughter maybe? I don't know. But he was not convicted of murder.
I remember.
And so what we're looking at, though, I think, is the politics of it. And the politics of it play in a way that I think you're going to see tonight. The president focus again on immigration. That was long stated. His theme going into the midterms is what he wants to focus on to stir up his base. And I imagine this will